ask questions, and questions start with usually a W or an H. So we're going to make the questions brief, and then we'll have a wonderful concert afterwards. So if you'd like to ask a question, raise your hand, and I'll race over to wherever you are.
Over here.
Someone over here. Someone over there.
Hi there, how you doing?
I'm well, how are you?
Excellent. I guess the question on my mind was, who would you say was your favorite artist or group that you worked with in general?
That's tough. I have to say Otis Redding. He was the first really dynamic singer that moved me, that I was very physically close to and worked with over a long time and got to have my way with, so to speak, in some ways. I arranged some of his songs, and he was also the most unassuming person I worked with, who just loved to do music for no pay, or just loved to do music.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. I don't know how you found Bill Withers, but I think Bill Withers is one of the people that I just think those records, that first album especially, was one of the most unique sounding records, particularly when it came out, that anyone's ever made. The string arrangements are unbelievable. So did you sign and discover Bill?
Well, my friend, I'm glad to hear you say that you like the first record that Bill Withers did, because that's the only one I produced. It's a long story. I moved from Memphis to Hollywood, and at the time, Stax Records was being taken over by Al Bell, who had a friend, an African-American businessman in Hollywood named Clarence Aman, who sold Stax to Paramount. He made deals among big companies, and his name was Clarence Aman. You might, what movie was that they made about him? Some movie. Anyway, he called me at my ranch one day and said, "Booker, there's a guy in Inglewood building toilets, but he's writing songs, and I'd like you to hear him." So, Clarence called, said, "Send him out." So he comes out to my ranch, and he's got, he looks like he's still been working on the ranch. He has Brogan shoes on, and overalls. And, didn't have a lunch pail, but he had a big notebook full of songs. And he sat down in my living room, and he, "Ain't no sunshine when she's gone." That was the first one he sang for me, and that was the first one of the whole one this thick. So I just went in the next room and got on the phone. Are you listening? I'm singing songs for you. That's hilarious. And that's kind of how it happened. And I called, my first call was to Steve Cropper in Memphis. He was busy, couldn't make it. So then I called Stephen Stills. And he played on the album. I called Al Jackson Jr. He came out, flew out and played. Doug Dunn. And then I called the studio, which was pretty much booked in Hollywood those days. And we ended up in a little studio over on Selma. And I have to tell you, Bill considered himself a carpenter, as I think he still does consider himself a carpenter. We walked in, got everything ready. Everybody spent all this money to record this session, and we were getting ready to start recording the first song. He comes into the control room. He said, "Booker, who's going to sing these songs?" So I looked at him and I said, "You are, Bill." And he just turned, walked out, opened the door, and walked up to the microphone and sang the whole album.
When you were working for Stax with the MGs, I read something about there was a little bit of contention about you guys being treated as employees rather than musicians.
Tension about being what? Employees?
There the Stax management was treating you like employees and not musicians. Is there something to that?
Well, I treated that subject extensively in my book. I hopefully elaborated on it. And yes, we were treated both ways, as employees and as musicians. We had freedoms, we had musical freedoms. But I'll tell you, I'll put the answer this way. On my first trip to California, I think it was 1963 or 1964, we were out in Hollywood. We were going to do a show called Shindig. And their organ player was Billy Preston. I was out there with him, and they had these rock groups, and we made friends. And I noticed I walked out, looked out at the parking lot, and saw Billy had a nice Cadillac out there. So I said, Billy, how much money do you make? And he said, well, I make about $50,000 a year. How much do you make? I said, I make $375 a week. So that was my check. It was $375 a month at that time. And so that kind of made me think, well, maybe I'm not. My remuneration is not exactly what it should be here. So that's kind of the answer there. And of course, I eventually migrated to California. And the first year I was out there, I made over $50,000.
So the music industry has changed so much over the course of your career. How do you still find that brotherhood, that family among artists with the way the business is today?
Well, there's so much more talent now today than there was then, and I have more access. Otis came to Memphis to be discovered. People now come to New York or Nashville or LA, and there's just so many talented people there, and I just like to think of myself as a magnet for them. They're all around me, you know. So it's just really wonderful.
Booker, what's your favorite Donald Dunn story?
That's my favorite Donald Dunn story. Well, he was a man, he used two words better than any word. I just have to try. God damn! I mean, he could say that better than anybody. He told some jokes. Most of them are kind of too long for me to repeat here.
Booker, why don't you add to that about where he put the money one time on the way?
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah. Well, on our first days, we got paid. We were in Detroit, and the promoter gave Duck some money, gave him some cash as we were walking out the door, and Duck absentmindedly stuffed the cash into the back of one of these. So we don't even have any of the recording amps. Stuffed the back of one in the back and forgot about it. Next morning we got up, checked in those days you checked your instruments on the plane. You don't know about that? And we took our drums and bass and everything with us. They just checked them and put them on just like suitcases. You can't do that now. And so we got back to Memphis. We got to the airport, Detroit airport, and of course God damn! We were watching the amp roll down the thing. And, what's the matter, Doug? I put the money in the back of the amp. So I got on the plane, flew to Memphis. And we got to picking up the luggage, and in those days they brought the luggage to the front of the airport to the curb. You picked up your suitcases, right there. We waited patiently, nervously for the amp. And so Duck ran over and beat the porter to get the amp and started pulling his cash out of the back of the amplifier, bass amp.
Hi, Booker. As a mama of two kids who are opera singers and immersed in the world of singing and music, how does it feel to be playing with your son?
Oh, it feels great. It feels great. I almost missed him. at the beginning of his life, he fell in love with soccer or football, as we call it. It absorbed him in his life, and I watched him for years on the field and admired him. I saw him out there fighting alone many times when the game was tilted the wrong way, and I saw how his team allowed him to guide them, and I don't know if you ever read the book Zen and the Art of Archery. It talks about how a person can excel in one field and possibly do the same in another field, and how you can spot that, Zen and the Art of Archery. So I was watching him, and then of course I heard a guitar player in my own home when we moved to West Hollywood playing, and I thought the TV was on. I thought Joe Bonamassa or somebody was playing on the big TV screen. It was my son Ted practicing guitar there. So I thought, I better grab that kid while I can. And he graduated, and here he is. And he does the same thing he did with the soccer field up here on the bandstand with the soccer team.
And was a really good soccer player.
Hi, Booker. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
What year did you write the score for Hingham High?
That's a good question. The reason it's a good question is, at Stax once we started having some success, people wanted to have us record their songs and record for us. So we had a little box up front. Usually the tape stayed in the box, nobody picked them up, but one day I picked up a tape out of the box over the front of the lobby, and it had come from California. It came from Hollywood, and it had a name of a company on it. So I put it in my tape recorder in my office and started to play it, and there was the theme from the motion picture Hingham High. Someone had written it, and it was from Dominic Frontier of Los Angeles. And he was a composer of spaghetti westerns, owner of the Los Angeles Rams. And I immediately, when I heard the melody, the arrangement that Booker T and the MGs did came to my head, and I was just so excited, so excited to rush into the studio. So I'm not the songwriter. I didn't write that. That's written by Dominic Frontier, and that's how it came to me. It was an audition tape. Sure.
Excellent. Visited Stax Museum.
Thank you.
Fell in love with it, and I fell in love with your music. I've
Thank
been
you.
collecting every record you have
Thank
on
you.
vinyl.
Thank you.
And I'm so happy to see you tonight play. The odd thing about it, though, is the thing that strikes me so far with you is your peace of mind and your demeanor. It seems like you've got a secret to life that you should share with all of us.
Well, thank you very much. I'm glad you feel that way from looking at me, that you think I have peace of mind. You didn't say what kind of demeanor, you just said it. But I do, you know, I'm glad you recognize it. I feel very gratified. I'm happy and I'm peaceful. And I've played music all my life. I've been very fortunate to do that. And right now, you know, it's just really, really good for me like this. I've reached age 75, and I have so many friends, you know, that couldn't make it that far. And I'm just, you know, thankful and I'm enjoying everything, you know. And I'm just very fortunate.
Thank you, Booker. I know that we could go on with many more questions, but you guys want to hear his music, right? Brief intermission, and then they're going to come back and do what you want to have.